Hi, I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. Thank you so much for watching. My guest is Augustus Williams, and he's a local artist, and he actually won a competition for the National Military Art Program, and he's going to talk about art and family and the community, and very excited to have him on. So, thank you for coming on, Gus.
Thanks for having me, Victor.
Whenever
Appreciate it.
I hear the name Augustus, I always think of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
Yeah,
Factory.
Augustus Gloop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that enough times.
Yeah, right. And he was the first one to go down. He was
Is the
drinking the.
first one to go down. Gus is the first one to go
Oh
down.
man, that was a great movie though.
It was, it was. Gene Wilder.
Yeah, it
You know,
was.
it's funny. It's like a lot of people pronounce my name Augustus. Was actually
Mm,
Auguster,
right.
like the month of August with an ER.
Yes.
And I go under my art practice is Auguster D. Williams Jr.
Okay.
Actually, you can find me on AugusterDWilliamsJr.com.
Excellent.
And the name of my actual art practice and company is called Puzzle Piece Arts. Uh,
Wow.
Peace is spelled like PEAC, like peace.
Nice.
That's-
Your artwork is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you,
Really nice.
thank you.
You started art late, but you've always had a talent for art.
Always. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I'm from Buffalo. I was born and
Uh-huh.
raised in Buffalo, New York,
Okay.
and ever since I was a kid, I guess I get it from my dad. My dad was the type of person that he's not going to call a maintenance guy or a mechanic or nothing. He's going to fix it himself. And, some projects stretch out longer than necessary. This is before YouTube, the how-to on YouTube. But anyway, he's
Yeah.
pretty good with his hands as
Uh,
far as, tinker. And I,
right.
and I take after him. And I've always liked the things. Like I started off, I used to draw a little bit,
Yeah.
but I can never just freehand something,
Mm.
from my imagination. Something I would have to copy.
Copy. Me too.
You know what I mean? But then, what really intrigued me was like structural art, like model cars. I try to pull different pieces from different model car sets and try to build my own car, which is pretty difficult because pieces don't really want to fit like that. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always had an artistic side to me.
So you grew up in Buffalo.
Yeah,
You have brothers and sisters?
yeah. I actually, I have three brothers
Okay.
and two sisters.
Nice.
Yeah, three brothers and two sisters. My oldest brother Kenny, he is in the United States Navy, just like I
Nice.
was.
Uh-huh.
And I have my brother Benny and my brother Rodney, and then it's me,
Hmm.
and then it's my sister Carmen, and then our youngest sister Shaniqua.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
Yeah, big family.
How are the winters up in Buffalo?
Oh man, you already know.
Oh, man.
If you asked, then you already knew. You know that the lake effect.
Oh, yeah.
You know
It
what I
just
mean?
goes around and
Yeah,
around.
coming off of Lake Erie. But you know what? I mean, Buffalo is the well-known city up there.
Hmm.
But it's other towns, what we call the South towns,
Yes.
that get a lot more snow than Buffalo does. Actually, like Jamestown.
Really?
Those places. I just found out Lucille Ball's from Jamestown. I
Wow.
just found that
Oh, my gosh.
out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but Buffalo, it was great growing up in Buffalo. You
Nice.
know, and it's weird. People used to always be like, how'd you grow up with all that snow and that cold? And I'm like, it's business as usual. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Once
exactly.
if you got to get used to it
Yeah.
and you have to get through it. So
I'm telling you,
business as
even
usual.
here, when we were kids, we used to get a ton of snow. I mean, we already
Yeah.
had 20 feet of snow by now. And my parents' house, it was funny because you'd look out and there was no snow on the lawn, but then it would all dump right in the middle of the two cars. Two cars are completely covered with
yeah,
snow.
yeah.
So you had to go out there, and it would take you hours to dig these cars
Yeah,
out.
man.
But
I remember. Look. I was born in '67,
Mhm.
and I remember the blizzard of '77. I was like 10 years old,
Right.
and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
I remember my dad. My dad is a pipe fitter by trade, and he was caught out he worked for a plant called Allied Chemical, and they told him like, listen, you need to stay here and be on call. They said, but we can't make you stay.
Yeah.
So he said he was gonna just brave the elements. He said, I'll get home. He said he walked out the plant and snow was up to his neck. He couldn't find his car, couldn't find anybody else's cars. He went back in, just hung out for a week.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
that is amazing.
yeah,
So you decided to go into the Navy.
yeah. I went to the Navy. I was about a year removed from high school. After I
Mhm.
got out of high school, I worked for my family's business. My family had a delicatessen
Oh,
growing up in
okay.
downtown Buffalo, and I aspired to be just like all my other cousins. I couldn't wait to work in the deli and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So I'd always worked there ever since I was like 13 years old, and that gave me the opportunity to get a little responsibility,
yeah.
get a great work ethic. But my biggest regret was not being able to play high school sports. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And you know, while everybody else was out partying and joking and having a good time, I was getting up on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings to go to work.
right.
But I kept money in my pocket. You know what I mean? Was able to save a couple dollars.
Yes.
You know, and but in the meantime, I really wasn't focused on going to college. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I kind of got into that work thing, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna be doing. I'm
Mm,
gonna work. And then
yeah.
my dad was probably like, you're not gonna work here for your whole life. This is a side job.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? So he kind of kicked me out of the nest, and I decided to join the military. And I actually ended up doing a 2-year commitment, and it was called the Naval Sea College Program, where they ended up giving me what, $70,000 to go to school, and I only had to do a 2-year commitment.
Cool.
Where initially, no, it was $35,000 for a 2-year commitment when the regular GI Bill is 17.5 for a 4-year commitment. So
So, what did you study?
I ended up studying marketing. When I
Nice.
initially, I was a COBIS major, computer based management
Hmm.
information systems. That was back in the days with the floppy disk and DOS, disk operated
Yeah,
systems,
I
and all of
remember.
that stuff. You know, um, it was like the late '80s, early '90s. Um, but then I ended up switching because I just felt like it wasn't personable enough. I
Mm,
like to deal with people, get
yeah.
out. As you can see, I run my mouth a little bit. you know, and what ended up happening was I switched over to marketing, and I did really well in the marketing program with the Howard University in Washington D.C.
Awesome.
And I was pretty much following the footsteps of my younger sister Carmen. Because when I decided to go to the military, she went straight to college,
Mm,
so she had already paved the way down there for us and everything.
yeah.
So
So,
and I ended up spending some time there. I spent about 10 years in the Washington D.C.
cool.
area. You know, it was really good for me. I ended up starting my own marketing company um, called the No Nod Group. No nodding, no sleeping, full service marketing or promotions.
All right.
And what I did, a lot of what I did was product was it started off promotions. It started off actually me selling T-shirts in the street, and then that turned into, at the same time, I worked in a lot of bars and restaurants and things, and at a couple of the they used to do live performances at a couple of the clubs that I work with in Washington D.C. And I gave a famous rap group, the Fugees. I gave them some T-shirts. You know what I mean? And they were doing a little show there, and this was like before that big album, The Score, came out.
Hmm.
And the very next week, I gave them T-shirts and didn't think nothing of it. They had about a 5-piece band, and it was three rappers, three MCs. So that's like 8, 9 T-shirts. We would start a little startup company. I really couldn't afford to give them the shirts. I was like, "What have I done?" And I got caught up in the moment. But what ended up happening was, look up. A week later, they were all MTV Grind
Oh
wearing the
my
T-shirts. You remember
God.
that show, MTV
Yeah, of
Grind, with
course.
the beach parties
Yeah,
on
yeah.
MTV? They were in it with the live performances on stage. They were all on MTV Grind wearing these T-shirts, and people were calling me like, "Hey, Guts," well, they call me Don. My middle name's Don. "Hey, Don, everybody's got your shirts on, man.
All
How can I get these
right.
shirts?" We were
Yeah.
already selling them at a couple chain
See
stores, and then
that?
that improved business. And then a light went off in my head, and I said, "Hey, it's that easy. All I gotta do is get these rap artists some shirts, and they wear them on the TV or video,
Yeah,
and we sell 1 million units. Let's go. Let's do it."
yeah.
So I ended up starting my own marketing company. I was, like I said, that's when I started the No Nod Group, and it was product placement. I didn't know what I was doing, but it's actually called product placement. Where you get somebody to wear your stuff and
Yeah, right.
name brand, and it's like they see it, and you get free advertisement. So we did that for a number of years, and had some pretty good clients, big clients,
Excellent.
and I'm not going to really name any names right now,
No.
but that's it's funny because during those times I always dealt with other people whose creative energy I worked hard to get it out there.
Mm,
But I always felt like something was missing because I had my own creative energy that I wanted to get out there,
exactly.
but I wasn't really producing anything to get out there. And now I am. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, everything goes full circle.
Yeah. So I'm very interested in education. I love kids. I love, the fact that they need to learn and need to, become, part of society.
Right.
And when I wanted to Google the importance of art in education, and engaging with art is essential to the human experience. Almost as soon as most motor skills are developed, children communicate through artistic expression. The arts challenge us with different points of view, compel us to empathize with others, and give us the opportunity to reflect on human condition. Uh, Empirically, evidence supports that these claims among adults, arts participation is related to behavior that contributes to the health of civil society. So, and even I looked up the Renaissance, and they said that it causes people to think about nature and think about the universe and the body and how things work. And art is such an incredible thing, and it's done something for you.
Oh man, what art does, not just for me, but it kind of like it it helps shape how you see the world. Also how colors are manipulated because certain colors elicit certain emotions and
Mm,
responses from us. Like you have a beautiful tie on right now.
right.
If it was all black, it'd probably be a nice tie, but
Yeah.
it's nicer because it's got nice flowers and it's
Yeah.
got something's going on there, Vic, and it's showing
Right.
your personality. You know what
Sure.
I mean? You
Exactly.
know, and also, I mean, the arts, like that's why I understand how there's so many endowments for the arts because like I said it helps to spark and stimulate
Yes.
our thinking and our
Imagination
imaginations
and
and
empathy,
it's
and wanting to help other people. So I think that's the most important thing in society, you
absolutely
know, and that's what makes us a society to come together to help each other.
absolutely.
Now, your work, where do you get these pieces?
All right, basically like I said it's called puzzle piece arts
Yes.
and everything that I do most of what I
Uh
do
huh.
most of the materials that I use are repurposed to recycled materials.
Cool.
Magazines, uh, um, greeting cards, shoe boxes, whatever. You know what I mean? Something. I can't walk past a garbage can. No, nothing's safe. I gotta see what's going on. What's in there? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um,
That's pretty cool, though.
yeah. So basically, what I do is I create my pieces. All of these
Mm-hmm.
are individual pieces. Those
Right.
are my puzzle pieces.
Yes.
And all my puzzle pieces have a basic shape. They're shaped like triangles,
Mm.
but different shaped triangles. What that triangle actually represents is the recyclable symbol, but it's upside down. Actually, I like to say it's right side up. You know what I mean? And it has the three phases of recycling, the arrows,
Yeah.
the actual phase where you're collecting materials to be recycled.
Mm.
The second phase is the production to create materials into something else that's marked, that's usable, another commodity. And the third phase is that actual commodity in its final production stage where it's available to all of us.
Mm.
We can go out and we can purchase it or buy it or
Yeah.
give it away or what have you.
Right.
And it completes the circle. I add the circle in the middle to represents the continuum of life.
Mm.
As life is a circle, goes around and around and around. Things
Yep.
come right back around.
Yeah.
So that's my actual logo. Um, and this like the human figure for this particular piece. This
Yes.
is this is called the missing piece. For this particular piece, I mirrored the two figures. Actually, that's me. This is me. You know what I mean? I just laid out some paper and had my wife trace me out, and cut it out and then put it, and then I mirrored it. And because all I am, I'm just the template for, like the human figures.
Mm.
My artwork is all about humanity and our place in the world. And I represent that by using different figures in my art. And I'm just a template. I'm me, I'm you,
Yep.
we're us. This is all of us.
Yeah.
So then I mirrored the two I put it together and I looked at it and I said, "Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!" I said, "Sweetheart, come here, come here." You know, my wife's from Australia.
Yeah.
Yes, darling.
Hi,
Yes,
Vic.
yes. Hey, sweetheart. You know, and I said, "Come look at this." Yes, darling. Yes. And she comes in. I said, "What is?" She said, "Oh, that's nice." You know what I mean? She won't tell me everything I do is nice. So I know if she tells me
I
something
know.
nice, it's
Everybody's a
nice.
critic.
Yeah, everybody's a critic. So and I said, "What do you think?" She said, "I love it." I said,
Yeah.
"What does it remind you of?" She said, "Kind of reminds me of a puzzle piece." I said, "You see it? You see what I see? You see what I see?" So that's what I did. I mirrored the two pieces, put them together, and I put the symbol in the middle, and that's my actual logo.
Oh, it's
You know,
beautiful. Really
Puzzle
nice.
Piece
Yeah.
Arts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and yes, and I do have sweatshirts and T-shirts available too. You know, just
That's
get in
right.
touch with me on my
And
website.
again, what is your website?
It's AugustaDWilliamsJr.com.
Okay.
Augusta is spelled like the month of August,
Yeah.
August with an ER, Augusta, D as in Donald, Williams Jr.com.
Excellent.
I'm also on Instagram at Puzzle Piece
Mm-hmm.
Arts, Peace,
Yeah.
all one word,
Yeah.
and Facebook, Puzzle Piece Arts, separate, Puzzle Piece Arts.
So talk about the National Veterans Arts Award.
All right, now here's when I started getting serious about this art
Uh-huh.
thing. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was always been a tinkerer and a dabbler and a creator. You know what I mean? But when I finally came into my own as an artist, it actually came from me participating in programs at the Montrose VA, which is
Okay.
right up the road.
Yes.
You know, I was suffering some mental health issues and problems. You know, some things that had happened in the military, and since then, and I needed some help.
Yeah.
So, in order to get that help, VA was there for me, and they suggested that I come to a place called Montrose.
Awesome.
Montrose, where the hell? I was living in Manhattan at the time. I'm like, where the hell is Montrose? Where is that? You know, but I found a beautiful place, and what ended up happening was, they have different
Programs.
programs.
Mm-hmm.
They have art therapy,
Yeah.
music therapy, and I participated in both. But art therapy was the one I really, really appreciated.
Yeah.
And our art therapist at the time, she was like, "Well, there was a group of us, and she
Mm-hmm.
said, well, what I want you guys to do is just sit down and here's choose some materials,
Yeah.
anything in this big giant room. They had everything, choose some materials and just put together something that expresses how you feel right about now. Up, down, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. She says, no rush. You don't have to finish it today.
Yeah.
Take your time with it. So it kind of evolved for me, and that's when I started cutting up pieces of magazines, and I was finding
Yeah.
different stuff, rope and string, and all these different materials, foil, and next thing you know, I came up with something. It was something similar to this. It was my first piece I ever made. It's called Resilience. So what I did was, what she did was, she's like, Mr. Williams, I really like this. This is really different. She said, I haven't quite seen anything like it. So I'm thinking she's blowing smoke up. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you like it. And then she said, no, seriously.
That's
She said,
awesome.
would you be comfortable if I submitted your work into the National Veterans Creative Arts Festival? And I'm like, what is that? She said, well, let me explain to you. She said, it's a it's a local competition with all the VA hospitals throughout the entire country, and they have different categories. I'm collage.
Mm-hmm.
And that something else might be mixed media. Something else might be sculpture, fine arts. Number of
Sure.
categories. And what she said, what they do is compete on a local level, and whoever wins in specific characters at your local VA, they submit to the national committee. Well, they submitted to the national committee, and I won for collage in the entire country. National Veterans Creative Arts Festival. And I was like, what? Really? Get out of here. I'm onto something here. And mind you, people were asking me, was this piece for sale? Could I do something for them if they, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm
Yeah.
like, really? People like it that much?
Wow.
And then I continued on.
Yeah.
That gave me that encouraged me to continue on and grow
Yeah.
as an artist, as well as my art therapist. She helped prompt me, and other people that I've met along the way, and it's kind of grown into something.
And then you moved up to Newburgh, and you wound up getting interviewed by the the Orange County
Orange County Arts
Arts
Council.
Council. That was
Yeah.
I watched that interview. It was beautiful.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, it was
Actually,
really
that's
nice.
still available on YouTube.
Yeah,
Under Orange County Virtual Studio
yeah.
Tours. Orange County Virtual
And their
Studio
whole
Tours.
thing is to promote the arts.
Absolutely. What they do is they focus on individual artists, and every week they had a different artist. And I happened to be the last artist featured in 2021, and it came
Yeah,
out
it
came
was
out good.
really
You
nice.
liked
It
it?
was yeah, it was
I'm
excellent.
glad you liked it.
And I like that they're involved with the Newburgh Free Library.
Yep.
Now, did you have your art there?
No, actually, where my art has been displayed in Newburgh has been mainly at Gritworks,
Okay.
Gritworks Studio, right on Broadway
Hmm.
in Newburgh. I also have work prominently displayed at M. Lewis Boutique, which is on Liberty Street in the Liberty Street corridor.
Yeah.
And I also have my own gallery now
Oh my
at
goodness.
158 Broadway. And I was fortunate to get that space. What
Yeah.
happened was the organizers for Newburgh Open Studios,
Hmm.
which they have every year, the last weekend of September, right in Newburgh. Um, People open up their studios. You will do walkthrough, you do
Nice.
tours, they make maps and everything,
Yeah.
and you can just find your number on the map with the address and you go
Hmm.
see it, and a lot of them are centrally located. Like me, me and my wife's apartment is off the beaten path, and that's where we live, we work, and everything there.
Sure.
That's my studio, everything there. And it wasn't very practical to just have people coming through there. Although we did try it the year before, and it was relatively successful during the
Okay.
pandemic. You
Right.
know what I mean? But um, what happened was the organizers for the Newburgh Open Studio were nice enough to go out and find area realtors
Hmm.
or area property owners that had nice commercial spaces
Hmm.
that wanted to open their space up and allow artists to come in. And I was one of the artists that came in the
Yeah, and
158
that was
Broadway.
like the perfect space. The way
It
it
was
was set
it
up
was perfect.
it
It
was
was beautiful, as
unbelievable.
you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Now, what ended up happening was after that weekend, it was me and about four other artists. After that weekend, they were like, "Hey, Gus, it's a nice fit. You know what I mean? You want to keep your stuff here? You know what I mean? You want to bring a couple more pieces by?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
I
Right.
said, "Sure." I ended up filling the
That's great.
whole
I
place up.
know. I saw that.
I went
That's
crazy.
awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it works out because it's a great way to show off their
Hmm.
space, show its functionality as a commercial space.
Yeah.
The lights are on 24/7. People can
Hmm.
look in. I have
Oh,
access.
nice.
I set up personal tours, private tours, and appointments where I can show the art to people,
See that?
and it's a great thing. So it
Yeah.
works out for both of us,
Yeah.
both parties.
Now you volunteer. Yorktown Love in Action.
Yorktown Love in Action.
Talk about that.
Oh man, wow! The Yorktown Love in Action is it's a nonprofit organization located in Yorktown. It's
Hmm.
actually at 1736 Front Street,
Okay.
right in Yorktown.
Yep.
Throw it in Google, it'll take you right there. Uh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a great place. Donna Simone and her family, it's a family run business. And they're kind of like a Goodwill or Salvation Army,
Oh.
except basically was they bridge the gap between people who are in need of certain items and people who want to donate items. You know what I mean? So it's a nice warehouse space. When you come there, you can go upstairs for shoes and clothing and books and appliances and electronics or what have you. And downstairs, you can go down for furniture, kitchenwares, that sort of thing. So it's open, pretty much 7 days a week. And, they need a couple guys with a little muscle, whatever, So, so we come by and we pretty much help keep the place
Oh,
in
that's
order. We'll
awesome.
go by and pick up donations.
Hmm.
We'll make deliveries to people that need, items or whatever.
That's awesome.
So it's great. It's great.
Yeah,
It's a great thing that they're doing out
it
there.
is.
They've been around about 10 years.
I tell you, there's so many times, I'm one of those kind of hoarders, where I
Yeah,
can't.
right.
And my biggest thing is, I don't need it, but I know somebody else does,
Exactly.
and I
Exactly.
hate to throw it away if somebody could use it.
That's the thing. I mean, the services that they provide is so useful because, you do some spring cleaning, and like you said, you come across items that might have some sentimental value,
Yeah,
and you don't want
that's
to
the
just
one
throw them in the
thing.
garbage.
No, I
You know
know.
what I mean? And
Or you can make it art, you know.
yeah, but that's the thing. A lot of my materials come from there. Stuff we about to throw into a dumpster like a mirror or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute,
Hold
stop,
on.
wait a minute. I mean, I have another piece of work that I'm sure you guys make sure you probably show you a picture of.
Okay.
It's called
I like that you
and
name your artwork.
oh,
That's pretty
absolutely,
cool.
absolutely. This particular piece is called Inside the Music,
Okay.
and as there's a lot of vinyl 45s in it, and
Wow.
there's pieces from a jukebox. Now this jukebox was located in the upstairs portion of Yorktown Love in Action. So Donna asked me, me and her son Paco,
Uh-huh.
to get this juke. Can you guys get this jukebox out of here? I'm like, well, what does it work? Yeah, it works. I'm like, what's wrong? I'm tired of looking at it. It has to
Yeah,
go.
it's
She
taking
said,
up space.
it's taking up a lot of space. She said, I can't give it away right now. I said, oh, we said, okay. So then it was just two of us. It was a little difficult for us to try to drag it downstairs. So we tried to start taking it apart. Now it's a little old. It doesn't, some screws want to turn, some screws don't. So we went to drastic measures. We broke out the sledgehammers.
Yeah.
So that Paco took the first swing and I got out of the way. I said, go
Yeah.
for it. Boom, he hit it. Pieces went flying. I said, stop, stop, stop.
Yeah.
He said, you okay? Did I hurt you? I said, no. I said,
Yeah.
hit it again, hit it again. I said, this is
I
beautiful.
I see artwork.
Yeah. I said, this is beautiful. Hit it again. He said, okay.
Oh,
Boom. He's got his
God.
goggles on. And then I have a little plastic bin and I'm starting to put old 45s in it and the buttons and the wiring. And I'm
Right,
putting them in
right.
he said, what are you doing? I said, this is art. I'm going to do something with this. He
Yeah.
said, really?
Yeah.
And then I came with a really nice piece came out of it.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? So that's just one
Yeah.
example of
I told Johnny Ritt that I was going to mention his name. When I took ninth grade, I took an art class, and some of the stuff I did I didn't really like, so I threw it away. But Johnny, like yourself, was able to recycle my artwork, and he wound up getting B's and A's. And
yeah, see,
so,
Johnny knew what to do with work that you didn't know what to do
yeah,
with.
that's right.
You know what I mean?
So I just wanted to have a shout out to Johnny Britt and
Johnny,
say hi.
a man after my own heart.
But yeah, so glad you came on, and good luck with all the beautiful artwork that you've got.
Thanks.
And you're an inspiration. You really are.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Big.
Okay. I'm Victor Margiotta. This is the Community Show. Thank you so much for watching. And please get involved in the community. Don't complain about what's going on. Get involved.